The following is a presentation of the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.
You are listening to Audio Suplex Live.
There really needs to be something else there during the intro drop where Corey says, "You're listening to Audio Suplex Live," because I feel like it's just like a long break there. Because it used to be "You're listening to Audio Suplex Live," brought to you by the Nerd Complex Podcast Network. That was, Corey's shtick during the intro for the longest time. And now that it's not there, it just kind of feels kind of vapid, kind of just blank.
Should we get a new theme song?
You know what?
Let's have a contest.
Oh, no.
Any fans out there want to come up with a new theme song for us, we'll definitely listen to it and see if we like it.
But we probably won't.
We probably won't, but you can do it.
Yeah.
We might.
Yeah. Nah.
Wax hasn't been paying us.
Wax is good, though. Like, Wax, I've been told by a couple people that it, like, fits the vibe of our show.
I do like Wax.
And we're close. Well, I'm probably closer to most of the dudes in the band than you are, but they're friends. So, Matt.
Yeah, I know Matt.
Yeah. So he will never listen to this.
Matt, are you listening, Matt?
Matt, can you hear me? That's not going to go out.
Mr. Fantasy.
So episode 34 of Audio Suplex Live, your weekly wrestling variety show brought to you by myself and my partner heel Corey.
The Wrestling Throwdown.
How are you feeling today, bud?
I'm feeling better than you're feeling.
That is.
I had to work until 3 a.m. last. Well, I got off at like 2:45 last night.
That's 100% accurate. I am a little worse for the wear today, but we're going to power through this episode because we have a lot to get to. We're going to talk about basically just kind of recap No Mercy for you guys a little bit. Nothing in depth, just because it's a pay-per-view that doesn't really require a lot of in-depth analysis. Post it going off the air, but the whole second half of the episode, or
second half,
I would say I would even go as far as to say the
remaining 95% of the show,
the other 80% of the show is going to be dedicated to our very special guest, Thomas Brewington. He is one half of the Indy Card Mafia. You guys remember a couple weeks ago we had Eric Eminon on.
Sure enough,
yeah. So we want to talk to him about his side of Indy Card Mafia, his start in professional wrestling, current angles that he's working in different promotions, both here in Toledo with NOW, and then, of course, obviously elsewhere in places like Project Wrestling and the Sanctuary and stuff like that. So, yeah, so we got a lot to get to today. Yeah, so
without further ado,
that's my line.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Without any
further. Sorry, go ahead. It's your turn.
Without any further ado, Corey.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about WWE No Mercy. So we're 1 week removed from Raw's last brand-specific pay-per-view.
Ever?
Yeah, it's the last one. They're actually this ends the brand split. Yeah, no, there were no more pay-per-views.
They're just done with pay-per-views.
Yeah, no. So the card itself was pretty stacked head to toe. It is an 8-match card. If you guys want, you guys can go back last week and listen to our picks and everything like that. We still, I don't think we did the numbers for.
I think I won.
Probably.
I only got one match wrong.
Wow. Yeah, I was a little all over the place. I don't even know what I was thinking. So, a couple matches. We won't really go into it. I'll mention it. I'll mention each match and the result
in passing.
If we have any thoughts on it, we'll go over
Spoilers here. If you haven't seen No Mercy yet, flash forward about a minute.
What do you think? What do you think is the statute of limitations on spoilers for wrestling related information?
6 months.
Because I think it's lower than that.
Just
dude. It's like
joking.
It's like a week.
I know.
If you miss something in wrestling, you gotta be.
Don't get on social media until you see it.
Yeah.
If you're a big wrestling fan like us.
Yeah. So, pre-show match, Elias Samson, or as he's now known on the main roster, Elias, because Vince McMahon is deathly afraid of last names. Went over Apollo Crews with Titus O'Neil. There was a rematch the next night on Raw. Definitely, I think they're setting up for this Elias versus the Titus brand angle. Although I don't really think there's a lot to it, just because there's two members of the Titus brand that aren't Titus O'Neil. And I don't see Elias going over Akira Tozawa anytime soon. So
you don't think he's going to beat Akira Tozawa?
I don't think he's ever going to touch Akira Tozawa.
Why?
I don't know. Because they don't like to.
Those cruiserweight guys have been wrestling big guys.
Have they?
Lately?
I mean, like the last couple weeks, but
well, guess when
there has been a lot of really good interaction between Enzo Amore, Neville, and Braun Strowman lately. That has been nothing but infinitely just entertaining. So
absolutely, I think their Elias is really good.
I think he's incredibly good. I think the way they're doing things with him is perfect. No need to push him into anything too huge right off the bat. Just keep the course with him. I think they've got a actual bona fide star on their hands with him. He's fantastic. He's great in the ring. He's fantastic on the mic. He gets genuine heat. Yeah, I can't think of
black jeans are awesome.
You like them?
I would wear black jeans.
You do wear black jeans. I almost guarantee you're wearing black jeans right now.
I'm not.
Oh,
they're blue.
Oh. First match of the main card, The Miz with The Miz Taraj going over Jason Jordan for the Intercontinental Championship. The match itself was pretty solid. I didn't have any major complaints about the match. It
was okay.
Yeah,
Jason Jordan, he's good.
He can go in the ring.
Suplexes are pretty entertaining.
I think just character development didn't really do him any favors, especially with the post-match interview that he had. For whatever reason, it just wasn't...
Miz sucks.
Yeah.
That's what sucks.
Yeah. Whether that's by design or not.
Miz sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I truly don't know, man. That might just be by design. So we won't talk about that a lot.
I hate him.
Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Finn Balor, man versus man was the big hype piece for this match right here.
With those gray pants.
Yeah. So I watched this one with Audio Suplex Live satellite figure Ajax. And we were one of our favorite pastimes, of course, is to watch the pay-per-view and then obviously crack jokes while we're watching it. And somebody made the joke of him looking like when you select a character in a fighting game and your boy selects the same character but gets like the palette swap. Yeah. So Finn Balor in the palette swap attire for this night with the
number 2.
Yeah, with the
alt attire.
His alternate attire for his looks like a...
Well, it's like those old wrestling games where the alt attire is something that they have never worn before. It's just crazy colors of that, as opposed to like newer games where their alt attire is another attire that they've worn.
Other acceptable jokes would have been Primer Gray Balor, or I would have also accepted Duct Tape Balor. Those are also really good, alternative jokes there. So
I like that.
Corey,
what?
This feud.
Tired of it.
Already?
Balor's going against Lesnar next.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I think.
Yeah, but
I know. And then on Monday, and then Wyatt was still there. I know, it's stupid.
My God. Unless they're just using it as like a tease to say that they're
maybe they're just waiting for Joe to be healthy. He needs like one more week, so they're like, all right, Bray, one more week, be stupid.
Well, not necessarily. They could just be...
They need to write Bray off TV.
As far as I recall from Monday, and if my memory jogs me correctly, the only thing they did was they played like the weird Bray Wyatt whole world. No, they did like the whole world like after like Finn's match or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that was it. So to me that signifies one of two things. On the less optimistic side, they're continuing this feud out for another month, and we have to wait all the way until... God, what's the next pay-per-view? TLC to get like a final resolution to this, which is not really what I'm looking forward to. Mm-hmm. Or they peppered that in there for a teaser to say, listen, we're going to come back to this. We're not done with this feud, but we're going to come back to it at some point down the line. Just to remind you that like this is saying like, okay, well, we're going to move on to other things with each of you, but we're not done with this yet.
I don't know about that.
That's just my take. So,
well, I guess we'll find out tomorrow night at
the
Beers Tube.
Which we'll talk about a little bit later on. So the next match on the card, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins defending the WWE Tag Team Championships over Sheamus and Cesaro in what was easily
the best match of the night.
Match of the night. Dude, first off, it's been said 1,000 times this past week. Hats off to Cesaro for continuing on the match.
Teeth off to him as well.
Yeah, not off. Those boys went into his gums. My goodness. Just leaving it all.
And then wrestled for 10 minutes.
Leaving it all on the table there, dude. There was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Best in the biz.
I think this shows just how strong the top teams on both tag divisions really are right now. Because like not only are we like super excited about this, but next week we have Hell in a Cell Usos versus New Day, which is going to be gangbusters.
Is that next week?
That is 1 week from today. WWE keeps cranking out the pay-per-views, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so hands down, match of the night. My second favorite match of the night, women's championship match.
It was really good.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss defending against Bayley, Emma, Nia Jax, and Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks won.
Corey, how great was Nia Jax in this match?
It was probably her best match.
I think so.
She didn't win.
No, but she looked like the unstoppable monster that she should have been looking like the entire time.
It's useless now. Asuka's coming.
Do you think? What do you think Asuka does then? Do you think she goes?
She loses it to Nia. She'll come in and win the belt, and then loses it to Nia eventually.
You think so?
That'd be a good way to build up Nia Jax.
Yeah. Roman Reigns versus John Cena.
John Cena.
Corey.
Cena retired. Roman's the best.
And yeah,
he retired Taker, Cena.
There's no
Stone
disputing
Cold, The Rock. He got rid of all of them.
Somebody on Reddit made the joke. Do you think after sex, Roman's wife raises his hand and points at him like this?
I don't think so.
No, I'm kind of curious. I want to know. That or somebody also made the joke like in 2K18, his winning animation should be like his opponent raising his hand and pointing to him like this. Like, is that how we're doing this now? Is that like? But you know what? It works, people.
You know, we should have Roman on the show.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think he'll do it?
Roman Reigns, here's your invitation.
Yes.
Come on the show.
If you're listening to this,
yes,
we'd love to have you.
It was a decent match.
Yeah.
Fans still hate Roman.
Yeah.
So,
the fans were truly just not into this match at the show, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match too. One spear to end it all.
Yeah, after 3 AAs, was it?
Right, ridiculous.
Yeah,
that spear worth $100.
John Cena's not done.
I know.
You know,
they're saying WrestleMania though. That's a while away.
That long?
Yeah, they originally were saying Survivor Series or Rumble, but
I would almost bank on the Rumble.
We'll see.
So, but we'll see. Second to last match of the night, Enzo Amore defeating Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. Corey via shenanigans, via
nefarious.
I've never heard that phrase in my life. Via nefarious means,
memes,
also known as a kick to the groin, which will slow down the momentum of any king, regardless of championship status or not.
Yeah, it was a lame match. Bad
ending.
It seems like it makes more sense now after watching Round 205, but Neville is the best. So
he's doing these cool little like ticks with the Cruiserweight Championship and the 205
Is he turning
Live.
Like face? Or
he's
like
I
a
think
face heel,
fully heel at
like
this
a
point,
heel
dude.
that fans are like, okay though. But like when he
like,
came out, everyone was like,
yes, but you're also
he's gonna beat up Enzo because Enzo's being a dick.
Right, that post Raw. If you guys haven't watched it yet on WWE's YouTube, they posted the post Raw cameras going off the air stuff from Monday. Basically, ended up resulting in the entire Cruiserweight division murdering Enzo Amore in the middle of the ring. But yeah, I kind of am on board with it as long as it means that we're gonna have the situation where everybody on the Cruiserweight division hates Enzo Amore. And if he's the champion,
that's already happened. They did it in one day.
It makes 205 Live that much more interesting.
I watched 205 Live this week. I haven't watched 205 Live in weeks.
How was it?
It was all right.
Yeah, it's a good show, man. It's a good show.
It's all right.
Your main event of the evening: Brock Lesnar going over Braun Strowman.
Over hard. 1 F5. It was over.
This is the only match where I don't really know if I necessarily agree with the way that this one ended. Now, granted,
3 F5s would have been the way to do it.
Because it doesn't make, you had all this momentum with Braun, and then it just stopped short. Like, even if you were to have him lose 1 F5, like
didn't he win on Raw? He beat Kurt Hawkins, didn't he, on Raw?
I guess.
So
he beat Dean Ambrose on Raw.
Oh, yeah.
And then he has Seth Rollins next week.
Yeah, so he's got some good matches coming.
Yeah, I know. And
he's going to win all those matches. I don't know why they're doing that.
I try not to get too worked sometimes about like the results and stuff like that, knowing full well that I can't control any of it. But
we knew Brock was going to win.
Yeah. But, you know.
Brock's losing to Roman at WrestleMania. It's been set in stone for 7 months.
And I keep repeating my own advice to other people with the whole Roman situation in my head. You just got to sit back and enjoy the ride, man. Just, if you know what's going to happen, that's
what all wrestling should be. Sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. All right. So that was No Mercy. I think the undercard was pretty solid. I think on any other card,
it wasn't that good. I was disappointed.
On any other card, the undercard matches would have been really good. Mm-hmm. But once you got to especially those last two matches of the night, the Cruiserweight title match and the Universal title match, just really took the wind out of my sails.
Well, and the crowd for the Cena Reigns match wasn't that exciting either. So
yeah, the last three. So really was
like, oh my god.
I mean, but there were highlights though. The women's title match was fantastic. The tag title match was incredible.
Tag match, Cesaro messing up his teeth, and the fans knowing like, oh crap,
yeah,
they saw it on the screen, like. They got more into the match then, I think, too, which amplified it quite a bit.
It was a heated match. It was super good, though. I liked it a lot.
I feel like the pay-per-view went downhill. It started all right, and then went
downhill quickly.
Yeah.
All right. So, Corey, without any further ado,
yes,
let's go ahead. Joe, do you want to get our guest, Mr. Thomas Brewington, dialed in? We're calling him up right now.
Calling up our guest this week.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to Audio Suplex Live for the people watching on Facebook Live and inevitably when they watch this on YouTube. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Thomas Brewington. They call me the Project. I am one half of the Northwest Ohio Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Indy Card Mafia.
Fantastic. And we'll talk a little bit more about NOW and what's going on with that. We got a huge show coming up with NOW October 14th, where those tag team titles will be defended in a ladder match. But before and I'm super looking forward to that one.
It's gonna be a good show.
But before we get into all that, one of the first things we usually like to do when we get a guest on is just kind of talk about your just earliest starts in wrestling, how we decided that wrestling was like the career path that we wanted to go down, and so maybe some of like your early influences in wrestling.
Okay. Well, I started my training in 2010 at the Chikara Wrestle Factory in Philadelphia under Claudio Castagnoli, now Cesaro in the WWE, and Lightning Mike Quackenbush.
Awesome.
From there, I went to Ace Pro Wrestling in New Jersey, which was in Union City at the time. And then I finished up at DWF Loco in Pennsauken, New Jersey, just across the bridge from Pennsylvania, from Philadelphia to be exact. So I kind of stayed in the same relative area. I had my first match April 21st, 2010. So I've been doing this about 7 years now. Yeah.
So let me ask you real quick. You actually just kind of piqued my interest in a huge way.
It's like Travis's favorite part of the country.
I actually have to. Are you from the Philadelphia area originally, or?
I'm originally from New York City, but I lived in Philadelphia for about 2 years.
Okay. So actually, I have roots in South Jersey and Philadelphia. So, and I don't think I've tried to explain to people before, but and maybe you can kind of help me with this. South Jersey and Philadelphia are such a wrestling hotbed. Not only because of like the connections with like ECW and stuff like that, but now you have like CZW thriving fully out there now, and then a lot of names like your King Kong Bundys, your Bam Bam Bigelows, your Diamond Dallas Pages. Like so many people have come out of New Jersey in pro wrestling, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Pretty boy Larry Sharp used to run the Monster Factory out of South Jersey. So
yeah, now Danny Cage does. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. All right, man. So that immediately got a pop out of me. That's awesome. So, so tell us what your early training was like. So you were training in Philly, you said, with Claudio Castagnoli.
Oh, he's a beast. He's an absolute freak. Like, you hear them commentate about how strong he is. Mm-hmm. Like, those words are just like footnotes as to actually how strong he is. It's insane. He's honestly one of the people that push me to be as skilled with grappling as I am, because I'm a showman, but underneath all of that, I can actually wrestle, and I don't get to show that often. but when I do, it's just a little tip of the hat. Thanks, Claudio.
No, that's awesome. And if you're gonna learn how to get in and out of your like transitions and stuff like that, and like your actual like mat wrestling skills from one person, he would probably be probably be on that list. What did you think of No Mercy with him jamming his teeth into his gums and then continuing on with the match?
Insane.
I truthfully don't know if I would have been able to do that. Like at first I thought they got knocked out. But then when they showed that, they were pushed in, I'm like, how? That could have killed him, man. Absolutely. And the fact that he finished the match like it was nothing, it's just insane.
That's even crazier. Is that like if they would have been like if you just like knock out my teeth, like it's gonna hurt for a couple seconds.
Adrenaline and all that stuff.
Yeah,
knocked in like
dude, I get a hangnail and I'm just like, yo, I'm literally done for the day,
like,
dude.
Oh no,
yeah,
Jesus, yeah. Think about the headache he got.
I get like a hand splinter and it's done, dude. Just put me on the shelf. I'm out for 8 weeks. Like.
That's insane.
That's insane. So
like an NFL player.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So you're a New York City guy. You trained in Philadelphia. You're now operating out of New York as well.
New York. Yep. Awful.
The Big Apple.
Cold as hell. Hate everything.
What's it like out there now? Is it getting chilly?
It started getting chilly. It's October 1st, so I actually ended up turning on the heat in the house, and I hate life. Like if I was still in New York, I would have had to wait until like Thanksgiving at least.
Right.
It's finally getting cold here.
Yeah, no, we had like a super like chilly heat wave for like the last like week and a half.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like this past week, like 2 days in a row, it hit 90.
Yeah.
I'm like, where was this in July?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm glad I didn't put my air conditioner away yet because this is rough.
Yeah.
And then now it's cold again.
I'm alive right now, man. I'm this is when I come to life, dude. I get hoodies out. I get
hoodie season.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Chubby guys like that.
I agree.
I'm ready.
I do.
I'm ready.
So let's talk a little bit about. So you start your wrestling training. Where do you kind of go from there? So you're training. What was your first match, and then let's take that leading into how you started getting involved in working, because you primarily work as like a tag team wrestler now with you and Eric, obviously, as Indy Card Mafia. But I don't think anybody ever really gets into their wrestling training saying, okay, well, I'm going to be a tag team wrestler. I'm sure somebody does, but I
hated tag team wrestling up until I started teaming with Eric. I've always found myself to be more reliable being a singles wrestler, but I realized within the last 3 years that Eric and I have teamed together that, it helps to have somebody else there. It helps to have somebody else there to remember your spots and remember what the next sequence is and just a nice fallback, because anything can happen. So it's nice to have that little tag out, reset your marbles and just be able to continue the match.
Absolutely.
Right. So what was your first match like then?
My first match was against, I want to say it was against this guy named Kamikaze for 2KW Pro. And we did that in Union City, New Jersey at the Ace Arena. It was a shit show. But, it was a shit show. We held it together as much as we could. Two green kids that probably shouldn't have been in a singles match.
You got to start somewhere.
It had something else, but if I had to do it over, knowing what I know now, I'd be absolutely fine. But at that point in time, I probably shouldn't have been in a singles match. Just throw me in a battle royal or something.
Right.
Yeah. Truth be told, though, man, I mean, honestly, and we've heard from a lot of people who are both 7-9 years into their pro wrestling career, and then we've also had people on the show that are literally about a couple days more than a year into their professional wrestling career. Sometimes you just have to kind of get thrown to the wolves to really kind of get your feet wet and really kind of start figuring stuff out. So do you think that was like kind of like the situation with you, or after your first match were you kind of like maybe pulling it back in a little bit and getting yourself into more situations that you think you could learn at like a slower pace?
Yeah, that's essentially what I did. I had that first singles match, and then I didn't take a booking again for 3 months because I went to go get more training because I'm like, oh, there's no way that'll leave a lasting impression.
Right.
So then my next booking, I honestly don't even remember what it was, but it was a whole lot better match. If I can find it on YouTube sometime, I'll link you guys.
Yeah, I would definitely like to check that out because, like, knowing, like, we've definitely seen you guys, you know, primarily here with NOW, but obviously in some other promotions as well, watching, like, footage, like we were talking about earlier with, like, the Sanctuary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you guys are definitely have progressed like a lot, I'm sure, from not knowing what your earliest days really look like, but you guys are definitely very, very both solid in the ring, even to the point of being now, you know, I don't know if you knew this, Mr. Brewington, but you're in the PWI top 500 2 years in a row now.
It still blows my mind, man. It still blows my mind.
Number 493 this year. What was it last year? Could you refresh me?
497.
So a whole four spots ahead, man. How many years until we're up to Kazuchika Okada levels?
Next year.
About 25.
25 years? You're going to be wrestling in 25 years?
Well, I figure you'll double it. So like this year you're 4 spaces higher. Next year you'll be 8 spaces higher.
16.
So, yeah.
Then what? 32.
Okay. 32, 64, 28.
You'll be up there eventually.
So do you tell people like, yeah, I'm on the same list as Okada? Is that like how you introduce it, or is it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's, hey, I'm 493 in PWI 500. That means something, right? No.
I have a question. I wonder. Eric is what?
He's 496, I believe, this year.
And I think last year you were ranked higher than him. Why are you ranked higher than him? Is it because you're the better wrestler? Is that what?
Don't tell him that.
This is Corey trying to create some dissension in the ranks here.
I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, you both seem very talented.
I'm going to say this alphabetical order. Brewington before Evanon.
Oh, okay.
Safe with that.
Okay.
This is like some intern is like stuck trying to like come up with like the last 10 people on the list. And he's like, oh shit, where do I put these guys? They're in a team. It's kind of like a coin flip there. I mean, but it one
can't put them together, but they got to be there.
You know, there's so many. Ever since we started the show and we started having guests on that are involved with indie wrestling, both in our area and around like this general region of the country, it's phenomenal to me how many people are involved in indie wrestling now. Like, it's not. I almost like. I was thinking about it the other day. It almost feels like we're kind of getting back to like a more modernized version of the territory days, where you have guys working these like different areas of the country and stuff like that, where you can get bookings pretty much any weekend because there's promotions in any major city kind of running shows and stuff like that. But it's phenomenal to me that there's like, with that many people out there in the country now, you know, proclaiming themselves as wrestlers, that you guys are truly 2 of the 500 best on the planet doing it. Like, that's, I think, probably the most, like, a, you know, incredible thing of being on the PWI list, at least in my opinion. So.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree. You're going to make me blush, man.
Well, you know, here at Audio Suplex Live, we're all really about just putting our guests over and just, you know, making everybody look good. So, yeah, we're trying, man.
And you work as a bad guy, which is always good.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about Indy Card Mafia, how you and Eric linked up with one another, and where the personality and the team really kind of comes from. Because you guys are, you know, I know you work, you know, really, really, really hard heel style here in Toledo, you know, getting the roster crowd almost to a full riot level.
That was crazy.
But yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
So Eric and I met in September of 2013, and it was my first show in Buffalo for a company that doesn't even exist anymore.
So we've heard.
It's rebranded, but it's super shitty. So
we don't have to talk about
it. And it was basically just, you know, he came up to me, you know, introduced himself, I introduced myself, and we just started talking. We didn't even talk about wrestling. We talked about music. Punk rock, especially. Mm-hmm. And we got into a conversation about Against Me because we both love Against Me. And actually, this Thursday, we're going to go and see them live. So it's kind of a full circle thing.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, you know, I came up there 2 more shows. We got to talking more, and we realized we have a lot in common as far as, like, our our wrestling likes and, you know, what we want to do in wrestling and where we came from. And it just kind of took off. And we've been friends since. We've been best friends for like the last 2 years. Like he's my daughter's godfather, rather. And yeah, like it's been a wild ride, man.
Yeah, you guys are, and this is just like an observation as like a fan, first and foremost, even before we started like the show, you guys are definitely like a unit, like
cohesive unit.
Yeah,
yes.
cohesive unit. Yeah.
Work well together for sure.
Before I get too much into that, I actually got to ask as a personal question, what's your favorite Against Me record?
That's a good one.
Cause I'm a huge Against Me fan. Like I actually, I think I saw them like 2 or 3 times, various like Warp Tours and stuff like that over the last couple of years. Big into Searching for a Former Clarity. It's my favorite, but
that's probably in the top 3. Honestly, my favorite work is probably Transgender Dysphoria Blues, simply because it was like the completion of Tom's transformation into Laura.
Right.
Like I feel like that told the most story throughout the record.
That they have had probably one of the craziest careers of just about any band that's out there today. So still kind of slept on. But yeah. So one of the things with Indy Card Mafia that always jumps out to me, and I think this plays your guys' benefit, you know, we had mentioned previously with being in the PWI Top 500. When you look at Indy Card Mafia, anytime that you guys are doing something on Twitter, Instagram, social media of any capacity, or anytime you guys have worked a show here in NOW, you guys have a very distinctive look and feel to Indy Card Mafia. I would even go as far as to saying, correct me if I'm wrong, it almost feels like a certain kind of like branding when it comes with Indy Card Mafia. And I think that's something that's lost on a lot of younger talent in indie wrestling, you know, going back to the conversation of like, there's so many people who are involved in indie wrestling now. And I think one thing that a lot of people don't really get is that when you're an indie wrestler, you're a brand. You have to sell yourself to promoters and to promotions as a brand. You have to be an entity that they're going to want. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, let's, you know, what goes into making Indy Card Mafia what Indy Card Mafia is?
It's just a style, man. Like we classify it as a term that I coined in 2012 as punk rock strong style. Now, if you're a fan of Japanese wrestling, you know strong style is a hard hitting, in your face, smash mouth kind of wrestling style. Punk rock is, you know, the I don't give a damn, you know, devil may care, do and die kind of lifestyle, and just blending the two together. And we feel like that's like a super unique entity to our beings, is that we will do whatever it takes to get attention, to get noticed, to make sure that you remember us. And, you know, promoters want us back, fans want us back, or fans absolutely hate us to the point where, you know, if we're facing their top baby faces, they're super over, you know, by proxy, just by us being there.
Or their mom. Or their mom jumps out of the crowd.
God. Or their mom tries to kill us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which we got to witness firsthand, which is absolutely fantastic.
So scary.
Yeah.
Like to break kayfabe here, I remember being in the ring, and I turned to Mirage, my fiance Ashley, and I go, "She's gonna kill us. I'm gonna have to leave out the back door. I hope you can fend for yourself."
Yeah, in their hometown, so like they're probably waiting out in the parking lot.
It was so bad, man.
Yeah, Rossford, Ohio was ready to tear you guys limb from limb.
It was awful, but it's so good.
Coming back through that footage after we had shot everything and we're editing it down, I actually found like a freeze frame of Sam's mom, you know, yelling at the ring, and it's like me in the background laughing my head off because I thought it was the greatest thing. Like I got to learn how to stop doing that. Like I got to start getting
very animated.
Oh my god, I couldn't help it though, dude. That was one of those like, because you know, even when we're filming and stuff like that, I'm still a fan, and like if something is just like that entertaining to me, I've got to laugh, or I've got to have like a good like chuckle at it or something like that. So
sometimes it's hard not to yell out behind the camera.
Is that the first time you guys almost incited a riot in a city that you guys have worked?
To that extent, yeah. Like we've had like fans get in our faces and yell us and MF us up and down, but like to that level where somebody's mother almost got involved, never before.
I absolutely love it, and truthfully, like I cannot wait until the ladder match coming up on the 14th. That's going to be an insane show. So
excited.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Corey, did you have any other?
Well, actually, referring to ladder matches, do you have experience in ladder matches or hardcore style matches?
I have been in one ladder match, and I've been in I've been in 2 ladder matches, and I have been in a handful of hardcore matches and 1 death match. Eric is the ladder specialist. Like
okay.
he's pretty much wrestled his whole career in ladder matches.
So then you guys have the advantage there.
Hopefully. I mean, we are the champs, so the champ's advantage kind of goes out the window in a match style like this.
Correct.
But we have the experience on our side.
Absolutely.
But then you add in like an Ace Miles, who is a squirrely young man and can weasel his way up to a ladder quickly, I'm sure.
Oh, throwing his ass through a ladder.
Well, I'm rooting for you guys. I don't want to. Sorry, Natural Aces, but I'm rooting for Indy Card Mafia.
Mm.
Oh, I hope they're listening.
I hope they are too. I love being mean to those guys. I like them. They're nice guys.
You guys have a lot in common.
So it's fun to be. I don't know. They don't call me Heel Corey for nothing.
I don't know if Indy Card Mafia ever needs a manager or a new manager or a second manager even. Yeah, I'm sure Corey would love to lend his services to you guys.
Like they're great kids, but we have the age, the experience, and the wisdom that will honestly give us the advantage in any situation we're in against them. So I hope they bring it. I really do.
Yeah. Well, if not, if they lose, at least they'll have learned not to mess with Indy Card Mafia in a ladder match.
Well, yeah, once they get out of the hospital.
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow.
So good. Getting back into the indie wrestling scene. So you guys work here in Toledo a lot with NOW. I know you guys are working a lot with Sanctuary. What other promotions have you guys been working lately?
Lately we have we're not tagging, but we do single stuff in IWF in Brockport, Eric's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
We are currently in a program with the Carnies at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment down in Georgia.
Nice.
And then I think that's really the only other big things we're doing right now.
So I have a question. So obviously your attire says Indy Card Mafia. When you guys are working against each other, do you have to wear alternate attire?
I totally do. I totally do.
Yeah.
I try to separate myself as far as possible.
Right.
Just so that there's no confusion.
It would be like, okay, why are they wearing the same logo on their pants if they hate each other so much? Okay, obviously that makes sense.
That's the most Corey thought I think I've ever had you.
I'm just like, I wonder what they wear.
What do they do when they face each other?
Because their attire is very cool.
No, they
it's like, I wonder what their alt attire is. If you were playing a video game, what would it look like?
Well, much we were talking earlier with Finn Balor's attire at No Mercy. I'm sure we've got palette swap Brewington where he just kind of swaps out the color schemes.
Okay.
Throw on some old gear that I haven't worn in a while. Whatever.
Nice.
So what other besides like, okay, so you mentioned like the Carnies and stuff like that. So you guys are involved in some pretty like, high profile, storylines and angles in various promotions that you guys are working. Like, I think everywhere that you guys are working, you are, if not at the top of the tag card division, and then at least at the top of the card in some capacity. What are some of the bigger names that maybe people haven't heard of, or just people that you think are on the radar that you think wrestling fans should be on the lookout, either in promotions that you've worked for or promotions that you want to work for because you have people that are there that you want to work with?
First name that comes to mind is Ace Austin. Ace Austin worked a little bit for the Sanctuary. He's done Dojo Wars a bunch, and he's recently been in Rockstar Pro in Dayton. He's a really good kid, super talented, like phenomenal physique, phenomenal, wrestling ability. He's probably my number one on that list. Terrell Kenneth, who he's been at NOW.
Oh yeah.
He has an amazing upside, and he is quite possibly one of the most athletic big men that I've ever gotten to like see work.
Yeah, he's a monster.
A lot of people, either want to pigeonhole him in the typical monster, the monster niche, if you will. But he can do a whole lot more, and I don't think people realize that. And when they do, it'll be like, holy crap, where's this guy been this entire time?
Very intimidating.
But I think those two would probably be it.
Yeah, I've got a full confession. I'm a Terrell Kenneth guy.
For sure. You talk about him all the time.
I love Terrell Kenneth. He's got and he'll probably either find this as a compliment or a detriment. I don't know. But he reminds me a lot of Kevin Owens in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not only in a sense of like a big guy who's incredibly agile and can move around really well, but he never stops talking shit.
Oh, yeah.
Which is probably my favorite thing about him is like when he works NOW shows, he knows how to get that crowd 100% against him.
I love when
all the time.
Absolutely, man. He's like that everywhere. It's fantastic. Like getting to see him grow over the last 2 years that I've known him has just been phenomenal. Like it's been night and day. Like the improvement is just so incredible and unbelievable, and I don't think he realizes how good he's become, and I think that works in his favor because if he realized it, he'd be cocky as shit. He would not work as well as he does. But I think the fact that he doesn't realize how good he is his best quality. It's actually because everybody else around him sees it.
Yeah,
and I love it about him.
Yeah, he's super good. He's somebody who, like, as soon as he started showing up at NOW shows, that I kind of had earmarked. I'm like, yeah, that's a guy that.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to call. We've done more than one of his matches.
Yeah, we did one. We did the ladder match that he was in for the Fight for Fortune briefcase.
Brutal.
Yeah, but yeah, that's actually why I don't let people compliment Corey on the show, because if he actually knew how, we were doing for a show, it would just go straight to his head. We would never.
My head is big enough.
You're gonna need a bigger hat.
Yeah,
this one's pretty big.
Well, we're waiting for our endorsement deal to get official heel Corey sunglasses and beanies ordered in.
Maybe someday.
And that's one of that's kind of, we joke about it all the time about like branding and stuff like that, but that's one of the things that attracts me to Indy Card Mafia is just the way that you guys carry yourself, because in doing our show, we try to do like a similar thing where we have like a very clean, clear-cut vision as far as like aesthetic goes, and I think Indy Card Mafia is, very much in the same vein of like how you guys carry yourselves. So
yeah, bravo.
Yeah, yes. For sure.
All right, so I have a question. I ask every one of our guests.
This is the Corey question. Let's go.
All right. Who is your all-time, of all of the times, favorite wrestler? And in addition to that answer, who are some of your influences as far as your wrestling style are concerned?
We should start keeping track of these answers.
My favorite of all time is probably Kurt Angle.
Finally.
Yes.
Everything about him was just like, from the moment, I knew that he was going to be good. I guess if I had like a favorite B, would probably be Chris Benoit. And again, same thing. Their styles are just fantastic. They captivated me every single match they were in, no matter what the situation was.
Absolutely. SmackDown, early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it was at.
Those two had some incredible matches. It's a crying shame. Like, obviously, Chris Benoit and everything that happened sucks. But it's a super shame that like WWE will never be able to like highlight those feuds and everything like that.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, you can't even find the Hard Knocks DVD that they showed for the tribute on the Raw after. You can't find that DVD anywhere now.
That's
really insane.
Wow.
Yeah, like because they showed that whole DVD for the Raw after it happened,
right.
Where they came to Raw and they showed it, and you can't find it anywhere following the Tuesday after. Like, they pulled it everywhere. If you do find it on eBay, it's, like, super expensive. Like, it's ridiculous, man.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
That's insane.
I did not know that.
As far as influences to my style would probably be CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, the Great Muta, and Claudio Castagnoli.
Very nice.
Those are 4 really good names.
That would be good people to base your style on for sure.
Like they all like have their own little factors that just I stole a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and like I found a perfect way to blend them, which is, like I said, I coined the term punk rock strong style because that's exactly what it is. You have the hard-hitting European style of Castagnoli, you have the showman style of Muta, and you have like the in-your-face attitude of Punk and the strikes of Daniel Bryan. That's essentially me.
That's a really good combination.
Yeah, that's actually, now that you're mentioning, I'm going to be looking for that now, but I actually 100% see that. So
yeah, nice. So
you'd mentioned Great Muta, and when we had Eric on, him and I were actually talking. I can't remember if it was on air or off air about your interest in Japanese wrestling. What do you think currently about like where New Japan's at in terms of like getting a foothold in America and what they've been doing like the last couple of years with like Kenny Omega and Okada and Naito and all the whole scene going on over there?
Truthfully, I think this is their best opportunity that they've had to capture the U.S. market. Like, indie wrestling is at its peak right now. Like, it's the best in decades. Like, you don't have to work for the WWE anymore. Right. Like, it wasn't like that, let's say, 17 years ago, where you wanted to get into WCW, you wanted to get into the WWE. And I think with New Japan, like, arguably, it's the third biggest company in the world. Second, if you consider Impact at that level. But I think people like Omega, Okada, Naito, Shibata, the Young Bucks, they've all helped create this alternative to WWE that's just as good, if not better, at times.
Yeah.
And I think if they can capitalize with what they're doing with the U.S. title and make it as prestigious as the Intercontinental title or even the heavyweight title, that's their best chance, man. And hopefully they do more tours rather than the Invasion stuff they did years ago and the G1 special they did. I hope they do a lot more, like at least 3 tours in the US a year,
right.
Something like that.
Oh, I would love to see like a full-fledged New Japan, like not even like New Japan ROH, and that's no slight to ROH. I would just love to see like a completely New Japan tour entirely, all of themselves. I think now is the time for them to kind of really take that move and hit that strike and just go for it. They're hot. And I think you hit the nail on the head. They've proven that you don't have to work for WWE to make a living and to make a name for yourself.
Yeah, it seems like a lot more guys are realizing that and taking advantage of the indie scene.
So do you think it's going to end up being Naito versus Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, or do you think that they're going to pull some sort of upset and Naito's going to lose his briefcase and his title shot?
Hope. Like, my hope is for Naito, because I want Naito to be heavyweight champion. Nothing against Okada. Obviously, he's the number one best wrestler in the world. But I feel like Naito over the last 2 years has proven himself at the level of a Tanahashi or an Omega or an Okada. And it's his time. And I truthfully just want to see Naito versus Omega for the belt. So I'm a little selfish with that.
Oh, yeah. Which, I mean, if they keep all 3 of those guys there long enough, they have the opportunity to put together some really cool feuds and really cool matches between the 3 of them. Because you could put any combination of Omega, Naito, and Okada together, and they're gonna do something incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I might be a little bit biased, but I'm fully on board for Naito winning the title. But that's just me. I'm ready for it.
So am I, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm prepared. So big Kurt Angle guy. That's our first Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited.
Travis is a big Kurt Angle fan. You're the first guest I believe to say Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I popped for that. I'm just, dude. Honestly, like, getting into Kurt Angle in his heyday. I mean, in his WWE career was only like what? Excluding what he's doing now with the GM position, what, like 6 years long? I think it was.
98 to 2006.
2006, yeah.
So 8 years. So only 8 years long. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not a super long career with one company. Like
8 years.
Well, yeah, I mean it is. But you've got guys who have been there much longer. Like when you add up like all of Shawn Michaels' runs, or like The Undertaker, or like Triple H and stuff like that. The
Miz, 13 years.
Yeah, so that's a relatively long time, but it's not like super long. But like for that first like 5 years that he was there, just the way he was presented and the way that he just got it, second to none, dude. Like he had every aspect of it, the in-ring ability, the storytelling ability with his in-ring work. And then, not to mention, he was hilarious if he was playing a babyface or like a goofball heel, or he could be dead serious as like the wrestling machine and just make you think that he could tear you limb from limb. So,
is that a question?
I think that's one of the things.
No, that was just
one of the things a lot of people don't realize is that Kurt Angle basically went into the WWE never touching foot in a professional wrestling ring,
right?
And he got everything so quick, so quick. And, it takes guys years, sometimes decades to get that. So, like, he was a freak of nature in its own. And in those 8 years that he was in the WWE, would you ever have sat there and thought, oh, he hasn't been doing it that long? Or would you have thought that, wow, this guy's legit. How long has he been doing this for?
Right.
Oh, shit. Like, it's weird, man.
Yeah,
Kurt Angle was always that dude.
Oh yeah,
just in his first year to go from like completely green to top of the card.
Yeah, IC and
European.
Right.
We looked it up the other day. The inter-European champ or Eurocontinental champion. There it is. Yeah.
I think he's one of like 3 people have done that. I think it was like him, D'Lo, and Jeff Jarrett.
That's an elite group to be amongst.
Cream of the crop.
I love D'Lo Brown still, dude. D'Lo Brown's great.
You're looking at the real deal now.
He just worked a couple shows not so long ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's still out there. ROH just had Glacier. Come on, man. If ROH can book, dude, if I could go to an ROH show and I was guaranteed to see Glacier, I'd be there in a heartbeat.
See, I was that same way for Wrath, man. I loved Wrath in WCW.
I liked Wrath a lot more than Glacier.
What about No Love for Mortis?
I don't even know who that is.
I like
Canyon.
Chris Canyon. I didn't like Mortis' character.
Mortis was literally, so Corey was not a big WCW guy growing up. Mortis was brought in to be like the anti-Glacier. He was brought in like once they realized that they couldn't have Glacier go against normal people on the card, they had to like create a villain.
Another Mortal Kombat guy.
So they brought in Canyon.
I mean, essentially, Glacier was Sub-Zero. Mortis,
yes.
Mortis, I don't want to say he was Scorpion. He was like Reptile.
Yeah, he was like Reptile mixed with Scorpion, kind of. It was weird.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
And then Wrath would have been, I guess, like...
They had a bunch of characters in WCW that were like
Shao Kahn, maybe.
Pulled from movies and video games.
Yeah.
I was Yeti. I was a mummy. What's that about?
Whatever, dude. Yes, because...
Yeti. It's the Yeti.
Yeti. The Yeti.
But I think Yeti, I think of like a white Bigfoot, like a Yeti.
Okay, do we need to go down WWE's long and storied history of really crappy gimmicks?
Well, at least
to balance this out.
Dwight Yankum looks like a dentist. So
who's Dwight Yankum? Never heard of him.
Is that his name?
No.
What's his name?
What about
Ike Yankum?
Isaac Yankum.
That's it.
Do you want to talk about
Yankum? Yes.
Do you want to talk about Max Moon? How about the Goon? No.
Hockey gimmick?
You leave Conan alone. Conan was
what was that one really crappy... They did like a crappy magician gimmick. Was it Mephisto or something like that?
Phantasmo.
Phantasmo. Was he like a mime guy?
Oh, it was bad.
Who else? There was somebody else. There's somebody else that was just god-awful.
The Gobbledygooker.
Phantasmo was like a combination of like... It's like 1 part Goldust, 1 part Velveteen Dream, and then like 1 part Seven when they brought in Dustin Rhodes to do
people.
You stop that. You leave Uncle Festus alone. Uncle Fester alone.
Oh my God, Seven
Uncle
was
Festus.
so... Have you ever seen Seven, Corey?
Yes.
Oh, it was so bad.
So bad.
Oh, it was so bad.
Well, he only...
Montoya. That's the other bad one. Inigo Montoya.
Oh my God, that was pretty bad.
They had Just Incredible play.
Oh God. Oh, we could talk about Kerwin White when they decided to...
We don't even acknowledge that.
No.
We don't acknowledge that.
So were you growing up? Like, were you more of like a WWF guy, or were you one of the guys like switching channels in between commercial breaks to see what was going on between Nitro and Raw? Or?
I was primarily a WWF kid, but I think it was '99. I started flipping back and forth between Raw and Nitro.
That's a weird time to choose.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was like the wrong time, actually.
It was awful.
Yeah, he did it for the lulz.
So you missed like the highlights of the Cruiserweight division and Chris Jericho being fantastic.
That's when all those guys left.
I saw that stuff, especially Jericho with Ralphus.
Oh my God, the JPS.
I don't know. So bad. I remember a lot of cruiserweight stuff.
Yeah.
Because I would always end up catching it. I remember the Nitro after Kevin Nash beat Goldberg for the WCW title. So, like, I was always switching back and forth. It was never anything consistent, but I do remember certain things like that.
Yeah.
See, I never switched back and forth.
You miss La Parka?
Well, I think my problem was a lot of times I would record Raw on my VCR, and watch it the next day.
Yeah,
you know,
how would you be able to do that, dude? I couldn't have done that. I had to stay up and watch both of them.
No,
so that I could go to school the next day and talk to all my friends about like, oh my God,
I didn't have a lot of wrestling friends in school.
I still don't have a lot of friends. So.
Oh.
Well, at least at least you admit that I have at least some friends.
Yeah, you got one right here, bud.
Oh.
I'll always watch wrestling with you. So what else is coming up for you guys? We touched a little bit about the NOW show coming up October 14th. Tag team title ladder match against the Natural Aces here in Toledo, Ohio. What else is on your guys' calendar for the next couple months?
Let's see. We have October 20th. We're back at Sanctuary, where I have a little right to wrong with Eric. October 27th is my project show. Project Chapter 3, Project Takes the Sanctuary. It's my event. It's ECW superstar Colin Delaney against Eric Emanon in the main event.
Nice.
Terrell Kenneth is taking on CZW star Greg Excellent.
Ooh.
I'm in an intergender match against Tara Calloway.
Okay.
And have a couple more surprises in store. So it's a Halloween themed show, so I love the season. Nice. So there's going to be something special.
May I recommend a La Parka costume?
Absolutely not.
The chairman?
No. And then on November 12th for me is something special. It's Tara Calloway's Dropkick Depression show in New Jersey. It's basically a show where all proceeds, all donations go to the American Prevention for Suicide. It's like the American Society for Suicide Prevention.
Yep.
And it's a really important show to me because I struggle with depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And for me to be able to be a part of Dropkick Depression's first show, like it means the world to me. Like I've known Tara for almost 10 years now, and it's an event that I was honored to have been given a platform to perform on, and honored to show that there is hope for those that struggle with depression and anxiety, and that at the end of the day you can overcome anything as long as you have a good support system, as long as you believe in yourself, and as long as you stay the course.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. That sounds like incredible.
Very awesome.
Where can people find details about that show?
You can go to facebook.com/dropkickdepression. If I'm correct, you can also go to www.dropkickdepression.com. There's a bunch of information there. And if you guys can't attend, then you can send over a donation via PayPal as well. And like I said, all donations, all proceeds go to the society.
Nice.
And it's for a good cause. There's a bunch of names on there. Ultramantis Black from Chikara is going to be on there. Eddie McQueen, who's one of the most talented wrestlers I've ever met. Cannonball from CZW. Tara Calloway's on there. I'm on there. Chris Dickinson from Beyond Wrestling and a lot of other places. He's going to be on there as well. So it's going to be a good show.
That sounds incredible. Actually, yeah. No, if you guys are listening to this and you want to donate to that, if you guys aren't able to make it to the show, fantastic cause. Depression is a disease that affects millions and millions of people, and it's something you really can't see or quantify into words sometimes. So the fact that you're able to do something like that to support, outreach and just supporting one another with depression, that's incredible. So
good job.
Yeah. So we got that coming up. Like I said, we got the NOW show coming up October 14th.
Where can fans find out more information about you? You got a Twitter, Facebook. What do you got?
I feel like I have a couple of those things. On Twitter, you can find me at PRJCT Brewington. On Instagram, you can find me at Project Brewington. Facebook.com/Project Brewington. I give out my phone number, but I don't
What's your MySpace? You got your MySpace?
I think I actually remember the URL. I think it was like myspace.com/bleedformeangel or something like that.
Oh man, I don't even want to remember what mine is.
Oh man,
I think I deleted it since then, but I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna find out after we go off the air.
Yeah, you gave us all the information we need.
We're gonna send it in a nice little package to the Natural Aces and let them use that for whatever they want to use it for.
Oh man.
That's how people get dead.
Just put a little note on it, like use responsibly, boys.
Yeah,
Here you
be
go.
careful. Be careful with this information.
We're trying to get these poor kids killed.
Well, they're going to the hospital either way.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, man. So cool. Well, we'll let you get on with the rest of your day here, unless you have any final thoughts you want to, drop on us before we get ready to get out of here.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Do you think so?
That's it.
Okay.
All
I
right.
gotta say.
Unpopular opinion, but I like it. Like I would almost put that up there with believing that the Earth is flat. But
it's absolutely not. It's absolutely not.
That actually came from a conversation at work yesterday. My assistant manager decided that the best use of his day was to try to convince me throughout the entirety of the day that the Earth is indeed flat.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my day at work yesterday. He was like getting like customers, because I work at a retail store. He was like getting customers involved and everything like that. He was like, "Yo, no, look at this diagram." He like drew up a diagram for me to like explain to me why the Earth was flat.
You need new employees.
Yeah, I'll buy the whole Die Hard as a Christmas movie thing before I'll buy the Earth being flat.
That's good on you. That's good on you.
Oh man, so it looks like you're getting ready to who do the Browns play today? Even
the Browns.
I believe it's the Jets.
Is it the Jets? I'm gonna look it up right now. I kind of want to know. I don't have any players playing that.
I don't think that matters
from a fantasy perspective. Well, I was going to segue that to. We'll let you get ready for the Browns game. I'm going to get ready to watch the Eagles game here in a little bit. Whatever. It's been fantastic having you on up until that point right there. But.
Oh man, the Eagles suck.
Damn,
I'm still on the show.
No, but in all sincerity, Thomas, it's been an absolute thrill having you on. We'll have to have you get back on again soon, because I feel like there's a lot more story here that we need
to talk to them about their successful title defense.
So yeah, we'll let you get out of here. But once again, if you're ever down, we'd love to have you back on, because I feel like there's a lot more that we can unpack here as far as getting into the story of Thomas Brewington. So
absolutely, it'd be an honor, man.
All right,
thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you next time.
Have a good one, sir.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Fantastic.
That does it for us as well.
Well, just about. We got a couple things to plug.
We don't have to plug anything. Oh, we do have a thing to plug.
We have a few things to plug.
Okay, let's plug some stuff real quick.
All right. What do you want to plug first, Corey?
You.
Jesus. Let's go.
Let's plug. We already talked about the show on the 14th, October 14th. Yep.
In case you guys haven't heard, there's a NOW wrestling show coming up October 14th.
It's gonna be sweet. We'll be there.
Yes.
Filming it. Well, I should be there. I may not be there
because you may be
at the hospital.
A father.
I may be a father.
Corey
yes.
is the father.
So yeah, that's going on. Let's see. Tomorrow night, Monday night. We're doing it every Monday. Probably, I don't know. We're at least doing it tomorrow night.
We're doing it till they kick us out and turn the lights off.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Beer Stube, 8 to 11. We're doing Monday Night Raw. That is on Monroe Street, 5333 Monroe Street.
Yes,
in Toledo.
If you're in town,
food and drink specials, all that jazz. Wrestling trivia. We give away $60 in prizes. Honestly, the people that show up end up eating and drinking for free. So come out and have some fun.
We had a young man come last week dressed as Hulk Hogan.
That's true.
That was a blast.
And he won first place in trivia. So I don't know.
The image of him winning trivia and then just ripping open his shirt as he did will never leave my brain. That was probably the highlight of the week for me.
It was good.
It was really good.
So check that out. Do you have anything you want to plug, Travis?
No, that's really it. I do want to announce for those who are listening who are interested in football and all things football related, your
No one cares.
South Jersey Bruiserweights are currently in first place in my league, and we are riding on the way to 4-0. So I will be updating. I hope you
lose today.
I'll be updating you guys periodically. You can follow me on XDrTX on Twitter for periodic updates on the Bruiserweights and whatever I'm doing in my personal life. You can follow Corey at his Twitter if he wants to give it out to you.
Heel_Corey. I don't really tweet that much. Really you can come on. I retweet some stuff.
Usually he just retweets stuff off.
I really don't. I social media, but I don't really post on social media anymore. I learned my lesson. Time Hop has taught me how bad social media was many years ago. So I just kind of cooled the brakes,
jets,
pump the brakes,
cool the brakes, pump the jets,
pump some jets, and so yeah, I only tweet like once every couple.
Corey, are you playing fantasy football this year?
I haven't played fantasy football in like 3 years.
You haven't?
No, and since I've quit fantasy football, I don't know any of the players' names anymore.
Yeah, you used to be in the league that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
many moons. I've got a fun. If I think about it, I'll post it. But I've got a fun picture of us at the draft one year. I think it was at Beat-Ups or something like that.
Yeah,
I think Corey and I were rocking like the same haircut or something like that. I don't even know.
We definitely don't have the same haircut now. We have the opposite haircut right now.
The opposite haircut. So
we have buzzed head and long head.
Yeah. So Thomas Brewington, fantastic guest. Love having him on. If you guys are in the greater Toledo area and not doing anything tomorrow night, come out to Monday Night Raw at the Beer Soup. Join me and Corey. Have some beers. Talk wrestling. Hang out. It'll be a good time.
Oh, they're doing the big screen. Big projection screen. So it's going to be big Monday Night Raw.
It's going to look super good. So... But yeah, we will be back next week. We have our Hell in a Cell preview special that we're going to be doing for you guys. We'll break down the entirety of the card, and you guys can watch me in real time as I try to find tickets for it on StubHub because it's right up the road here in Detroit, Michigan. So without any further ado, we'll let you guys get on with the rest of your Sunday, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Or tomorrow night.
Hey, this is Joe, producer of Audio Suplex Live. We'd like to give a shout out to the band Wax for our intro and outro music. Make sure you check them out at the link below.
You've been listening to the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.